Connor Wigman has to play well. He doesn't have to throw for more yards than Garrett Nussmeier. He doesn't have to have a career game, although those things would be super nice. He just has to play well.
Howdy, everyone. Welcome to the TexAgs Rewind presented by Specs. Hope you enjoyed the show over at the Angry Elephant today. It was a great show with a loaded guest list. We had Andrew Monaco in the Go Hour. We had Aggie baseball head coach Michael Earley. He joined Billy Liucci and Ryan Browninger. That was a great segment. TexAgs co-owner Billy Liucci obviously was there at the Angry Elephant in person. And the final countdown with the McKinney Brothers was a great final hour 15 minutes of the show. Hope that you guys enjoyed that show and beat the hell out of LSU. We'll see you at the end of the rewind.
You could make a strong argument that this is when you consider the records and what time of year and the way the playoff and things have changed and things like that, maybe the biggest game that A&M has played. I know there's still be more work to do.
I know what you're saying.
But maybe the biggest game that A&M has played as an SEC team.
Yeah. And I love what Mike Elko has said, OB, about it. He goes, you don't just want to play in these games. You want to win these games, right? You want to keep we want to keep having games like this. And then we say, wow, this is even bigger than the LSU game. This is even bigger than something else. That's what you want. You want to put yourself in this position. And I thought it was interesting going back to Monday that Mike said, wow, LSU is a great team and A&M has an opportunity. Not like he was comparing.
Right.
But he's done what he's done that consistency of message every single week, right? We have an opportunity. That's all you can do. Give yourself an opportunity to have a chance here. That's what they've done.
Andrew, do you find yourself like we do on this show where like no team really impresses me, but then they're good, right? Like I looked at LSU a few weeks back. I don't think they're that good, but here they are 6-1. South Carolina can beat anybody. Like there's a lot of teams in the SEC that can beat you. And it's those who find a way at the end of games. And that's something LSU has done a good job of, even though they haven't impressed me at the end of games, they've been good outside of USC.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And there's the similarity, right? They didn't get it done at the end against USC. Aggies are tied with Notre Dame at 13 going into the fourth quarter. Notre Dame wins that game. But again, everyone thinks it's coach speak. We have the season ahead of us. I think both these teams prove that. Yep. And I think you're talking as well to the depth of the SEC, right? That's what it's going to take. And it reinforces what Mike was saying on Monday during the Aggie football hour, as he told his team, every SEC game is a fourth quarter game. Missouri was the outlier. Every game's a fourth quarter game, no matter who you're playing, and it matters where you're playing. And we saw that at Starkville last week. But yeah, that's that margin of error. So I think what Mike has done so well in this coaching staff is say, in a game that's going to have 150 snaps, which one's going to decide it? Don't say this one's not going to decide it. You don't know, right? This turnover might determine it, that sack. And I think when he talks strain and effort, it means something different to everybody else. Le'Veon's strain, Armaje Reed-Adams' strain, Nick Scorton's strain, Will Lee's strain, they're different physically, but it all adds up to, is this going to be the play? Is this deflection instead of a completion going to be the play? And I like that message. And I think we're seeing that part of the improvement is the focus of this team over the course of 60 minutes.
Are there times where you're sitting out there at practice early where you're just going, damn, when you mentioned Wyatt, Hensler, and you know, with Cash and Bender up, you know, all these guys with so much power and Sorrell, the whole really up and down the lineup. Are there times where you just sit there and practice and go, damn, this is really, this lineup has the potential to be like truly, truly elite?
Yeah, I always say I hope they make a heck of a coach out of me. Like they're really good. I mean, you might not ever see as much talent on a single roster again, just because of how the rules have changed and the Wyatt Hensler's coming from the Ivy League and the COVID stuff is ending and Matt Bergevin and they're really good. They're super talented. It's a ton of depth. I mean, I struggle sometimes to think about where I'm going to play them all because I could hit a lineup of 13 right now currently. And that's a good problem to have. And all talented, all great guys. And they all work really, really hard. Like the culture we have in the batting cage, I would challenge against anyone. Just if you would have walked into our practice 2 days ago and seen what those guys are doing in the cage off we have these really nice pitching machines that can throw all the different pitches and the screen up with the strike zone. Like they got the music going on loud and they're playing games against each other, like taking at bats. And Caden Kent screaming at guys after he does stuff well. Like, it was like a comfortable but really, really intense environment. And those guys just freaking work. It's so much fun to be around every day.
And they're doing all this, Billy, without Grahovic and Shot. Can you provide any kind of update on kind of how they're progressing?
Yeah, Gavin, Monday he did 3 sets of 10 off the tee, 30 swings, and it was when a guy hurts his wrist, he was 100 times better than what I expected. I thought it would be weak, rolling over.
Like a transition period.
He said he'd been visualizing his swing, and then Wednesday he did 40, and then today I got 50 with him. He's been doing ground balls. Jace is completely fine, and then Shots close to getting back to hitting. So I'll have a lot of work to do on the back end with Shot and Gavin, like November, December, similar. Appel was hurt a little bit last year, had a minor surgery, so I hit a ton with him in December since he's on the injured list. So just kind of those guys are in the winter season, so that'll be a good time.
You see that number of limited sacks. Part of that's because of the offensive line. Part of it is because he does a really good job of eluding pressure. So that number tells you he hasn't taken much of a physical beating this year. That does not mean he can't take one this week. And that's got to be the goal of that Aggie defensive front, Mike Elko, and how he's going to scheme it. So I think they'll be particularly aggressive against this guy in this offense. And then you can always adjust back off of that if that's not what's getting it done. If you're not covering their guys and he's getting the ball off and you might need to adjust, but I think you come after them, that quarterback, I think you come after him aggressively. And going back to what you said about a clean game, completely agree. And they did not do that last week, but I don't think it's accurate enough to say just that and they win, because it kind of ties into what you're saying about the clean game is Connor Wigman has to play well. He doesn't have to throw for more yards than Garrett Nussmeier. He doesn't have to have a career game, although those things would be super nice. He just has to play well. We know what it looks like. You have to walk away and go, man, he played a really good game, like he did the last time he started against LSU. It doesn't have to look like Missouri where we're sitting there going, damn, that was damn near flawless.
Right.
Again, that'd be great. It doesn't have to be like it, just to where we walk away and go, 15 played really well, and he's a big part of why A&M won that football game. I don't think the Aggies win tomorrow night if we're not saying that. And if we're saying that, my other thing that they have to do is you have to hit these dudes in their mouth on every snap, every play. You have to be more physical than LSU. You have to be tired of hearing about Whit weeks. You have to be tired of seeing number 4 run his mouth on Twitter. You have to be tired of hearing everybody pick LSU this week. You got to be sick and tired of it.
Where's LSU vulnerable, guys? Let's talk about where we think that they're vulnerable, both offensively and defensively. Seth, start us off.
Well, I mean, I can only really truly speak about what A&M is good and where I think that they're most vulnerable, and that is like at our offensive line. I think we're really good, and even though we're losing DeSantis, I feel like you got a great matchup at tackle with the good defensive end Swinton, and I think that they have a great, I wouldn't say great, a good defensive line. Their linebackers, they lost, of course, Harold Perkins, and now they've got the whatever they call them, the honky badger over there. And so I think that up front, our front seven should do a good job against them, but they're not weak there. But I think that is where we're going to have the biggest advantage, and I think that we should be able to run the ball against them pretty well. And we have in the past. Our only bad game at it, I'd say, was last week, but I think that we can build on that.
I think that defensively, we're going to do a good job against the run. I think our front seven's better than their front seven easily. I think our defensive line's better than their defensive line.
I'll give you that.
Is A&M's defensive line better than LSU's offensive line?
I think it'll be their biggest challenge. Yeah, I think they are, because
Will Campbell's greatness notwithstanding.
Yeah, I mean, but you watch like the Arkansas game, they covered up Arkansas pretty well. Mm-hmm. They were. It wasn't just all big runs. They were getting their 4, 5, 6 yards pretty much every time they ran the ball. Our defense, dude, Elko has done such an amazing job with disguising blitzes and bringing pressure. Arkansas didn't do any of that. Like they're going to see things from our defense that they haven't seen all year. So they're going to get tested far beyond what they've been tested.
And also they'll have 110,000 fans going crazy, and that'll give them a split second edge, which is a big deal. No, I don't care who you are. That's a big deal when you're not getting off on the snap count when you should be.
All right, you guys know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Wear black tomorrow if you're going to the game. Share this rewind with your friends. And, yeah, like I said, let's beat the hell out of LSU. Gig 'em.